At the moment, there are only 3 options available to us for choosing amount of time for a particular activity. And all these options are currently hard-coded, and they are assigned to period select options constant. Let's open up the file where this array of options is defined. It is constants.js file. And right here we can see that array of options assigned to period select options constant. So instead of doing all this manually, let's generate this list of options dynamically by using another function with the name generate period select options. So for the time being, we're gonna comment out these existing options right here. And let's scroll up and import our new function generate period select options from functions module. Next, let's go to functions.js, and here at the very bottom, we're going to export our new function generate period select options, which is going to help us generate select options for select boxes and activities page. And the first thing we're gonna do in here is declare period in minutes array, based on which we're going to generate period select options. I'm going to paste in here already prepared array of data, and every item of this array corresponds to amount of minutes for every select option. And then we're gonna loop over this array of minutes by using map method. And as a first parameter to this closure that we're passing to map method, we're going to receive amount of minutes from the array declared above. And for every entry, we need to generate new object, which will represent individual select option object. And this object should have 2 fields, value and label. So let's go ahead and add these 2 fields within this object, value and label. And as a value for value property, we're going to calculate the following expression. Amount of minutes will be multiplied by the constant seconds in minute, which is basically going to convert amount of minutes in seconds, since we'll have to store time spent on a particular activity in seconds. And as for the label property, for this, we're going to use another function, which we'll declare soon, generate period select options label. This will be a function that based on amount of minutes will generate appropriate label for the select option. So right here at the bottom, we're going to declare another function, generate period select options label, which will receive 1 parameter. And this parameter is gonna hold amount of minutes for which we will generate label. And we're gonna represent every label in the following form. It will consist of amount of hours, colon, followed by amount of minutes. And now we're gonna have to calculate values for both of these properties. Firstly, let's do it for hours. We're gonna declare new constant hours right here. And firstly, let's use floor function to round the value, which we will specify right here. And the value we need will be derived out of the following expression. Let's divide period in minutes value by amount of minutes in 1 hour. And this way, we will find out how many hours is contained in amount of minutes stored in period in minutes parameter. And then received value we're going to convert to string. And eventually, since we need to represent every hour by using 2 digits, we're gonna make sure to add leading 0 to the hour we get after calculating this expression. And we can add leading 0 by using pet_start method. We'll say that the resulting string should always have 2 characters. And in cases where there will be less characters, we're gonna add leading 0, like so. And then almost the same thing we're gonna apply for calculating amount of minutes. Let's declare another constant minutes and calculate the following expression. We need to get remainder of minutes, which is left in period in minutes parameter, after extracting full hours at the first step. So here we use division with a remainder and divide this value by minutes in hour constant. So here we need to get remainder of the division of period in minutes parameter by minutes in hour constant. And then this value we're gonna convert to string, and just like hours, we will represent minutes by using 2 digits. So let's also use pet_start method to add a leading 0 in front of amount of minutes, in case received amount of minutes will consist of 1 digit. And this way we will make sure that the amount of minutes will be always represented by using 2 digits. And now let's scroll up to the very top and import all necessary constants, such as minutes in hour and seconds in minute. but we don't even have those constants declared yet. So let's go to constants.js and add two new constants. First constant will be called seconds in minute with the value 60. And the second constant will be minutes in hour, also with the value 60. And then we can also dynamically derive value for seconds in hour constant by multiplying seconds in minute constant by minutes an hour, like so, which is going to make our code a little bit more flexible. And eventually we can remove that initial array of period select options that we have previously commented out in here. So let's completely get rid of it. And before checking everything in the browser, let's do a little refactoring. Let's go back to functions.js. And here, where we are mapping over periods in minutes array, we can make this notation shorter by returning value from this closure directly, like so. So now, based on this initial array of amount of minutes, this function is going to generate for us array of select option objects that can be used to render select options for select box on activities page. And then generated array of select options objects will be assigned to period select options constant. And since this constant is already used as a prop value for the options prop for base select component, that newly generated array of options will be rendered inside of select box. And now if we select activity item components in Vue DevTools, on the right side we can see that now period select options array contains 18 entries dynamically generated. And sure thing, all these array of options will be visible in this select box. As we can see now, there are a lot more options than before. And just because we always represent hours by using 2 digits, let's update this placeholder by adding one more H letter, like so. And at the end of this lesson, just to make our code a little bit more flexible, we can also receive this array of amount of minutes as a parameter into this function. So let's just do this. Here we're gonna declare one parameter, periods in minutes. And then let's move that array periods in minutes inside of constants.js. At the same time, we're gonna rename this constant to follow our convention of naming constants. And finally, we're gonna pass this array into generate period select options function. And since we're not gonna use this period in minutes array anywhere else other than this file, we don't need to export it. So let's remove export keyword. And here we go. Now we have a lot more options to choose amount of time we wish to spend on a particular activity. Link to the source code of this project will be in the video description.